Welcome back, everybody, to Pro League down here live at the Nexon Arena. My name is Valdez. Joined with me is Wolf, and we just had MVP taking out our fellow team StarTale-yoe Flash Wolves, and that's a really awkward picture.
I love those. I love those pictures. Actually,
who picks those pictures? Is the worst pictures ever. We had some bad ones, and they switched them to some really bad ones. Our next match here, match number 2 of round 2. Is the Jenner Green Wings, and they're going to be facing off versus the Samsung Galaxy Con pro game team.
This is the one I'm really looking forward to. The last match was pretty close, and we did end up going to an ace match, but the level of skill between the two teams is a lot closer. I feel what we're going to see here. I feel here Jenner Green Wings is highly favored playing this match, but how well is Samsung looking right now? Reality rejoined the team, and I was talking them up big all towards the end of last year, saying they were going to be a really strong team this year. They had a lot of great developed players. Stork stopped playing. Roro stopped playing. They lost Reality. Shine Star not looking so good. And now they're in 8th place.
Yeah, they got Deer as well, but it kind of went even, if I'm not mistaken. Not the best results, and some of their rookies not really doing as well either. This team has been really struggling here. Our first matchup is going to be Trap versus Hurricane, which is actually a PvP. Going to start things off with a bang.
Yeah. So, just jumping into this pretty quick here. These two teams getting hyped up, putting their hands in, having a little bit of a pep talk before we get into this match number 1. And we did actually get to see some talks, those 10 questions, 10 answers with Rogue and SOS. They really are, and you get to see some of these Jin Air players. You see Symbol here. Somebody I'm a little bit surprised we still don't see too much of. But compared to the players that he's competing with on this team, he's just not on their level right now.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Some hype around Terminator, as well as that guy on the right. It's Guilty. I know a lot of people put him into their FPL teams just because he came out once and defeated TY in a game where his macro wasn't even the greatest, but he was just making some really good decisions and somehow was able to squeak out that win.
Yeah, we see Bravo there on the end too. I said it a million times. I'll say it like one more time. Like, he didn't get the attention he deserved on SKT. He's got a lot of talent, and I think this is a great place for him to flourish, especially now that Reality's back in the team. Here's Jenner Green Wings' stats. They have a ton of Terrans on their team, but we see a lot of their skill actually, I feel, come into play in Protoss. But like their win rate there is like, it's like a Maru win rate.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Cure
like,
too, but
it's Maru and Cure. In fact, I think Cure did better than Maru in the last round. I'm gonna check that really quickly. Okay, yeah, Maru was 4-3, Cure was 5-2. So Cure actually having a great round here. I mean, he's been a really great 4th player for that lineup. You know, the Cure, Rogue, SOS, and Maru, fantastic 4, quote-unquote, of Jin Air.
By the way, Samsung still has the best uniforms.
Yeah, they do.
Even with the new
has the best jackets.
With the new cool StarTale jacket, I'm pretty sure these are still the best.
Yeah.
Stork looks like
one thing they've got going for them, at least, I guess.
In that picture, Stork looked like he would actually just pass judgment on you. He would send you to hell like with a straight face. Like,
it's like Tyrael, man.
Yeah.
Here are Samsung Galaxy's stats. Here are the race ratio as well as the win rate. Really a good ratio, actually, from their Terrans. You know, we were talking about Bravo. Who else did they have come out? They had Guilty come out and win some games.
The 42% comes mostly from Deer, even though their process are 5 and 8. This is actually not their win rate. I think that's like a bad like name for what that is. It's like what the win distribution maybe is a better way to put it.
Something like that, yeah. Well, here we have our match today. Once again, we're going to go through this quickly. Trap versus Hurricane on merry-go-round, and a very interesting PvP map. You know, that's not really a Protoss map, and usually you never see Protosses, but 2 Protosses come out on that map. I'm not sure why that happened, but that's really interesting to me. Maru versus Deer on King Sejong Station. Classic PvT on that matchup. Then we're going to go to a PvZ on Overgrowth. SOS, of course, loving Overgrowth. He's like the king of cannon rushes on that map. Solar not having the best round 1. In fact, playing quite badly. But he's looking to come back here. He's had some good games elsewhere outside of Pro League, so People are looking towards him.
Yep, and then Rogue versus Shine. We're going to have a Zerg versus Zerg and Expedition Lost. It is going to be a ZVZ. It's a newer map. So we'll see how that one goes. Shine has surprised people a lot in the past with ZVZs against players he's favored against, or rather, he's not favored against. And the ace match, if it does come to it, is going to be again here on Bonnie Research Station. And as you can see, we talked about this briefly earlier. The record between these two is pretty close, but I think most of the wins we saw from Samsung were back in the earlier rounds of last season. So, Jin Air is highly favored, especially with the matchups we have today.
They've got just such a strong lineup here. I'm not exactly sure why Kira doesn't come out. Like I said before, I think he was their most winning player of round number 1, but he just doesn't come out today. I think they're just trying to field trap, I guess, but Kira's not really the guy I would take out.
Wait, this is sick. I love this. All these portraits of these players. That looks so cool. The fans came down and gave him a lot of stuff. I'm not sure what they're being congratulated for in this case.
Because they better fly.
They better fly, man.
Something like that.
Something like that. But I love this. Like, that's like if you're a generic Green Wings fan, you wish you had all of those pictures like on your desk.
Yeah, man. You get a little shrine in your closet going with some candles and like say a prayer to Maru, the ever so loving Marine Prince.
Yeah,
he'll make your ladder games a little bit better if you play Terran.
Well, I have to say, I mean, Jin Air highly favored. Really want to see what Samsung's going to bring to the table because they've got a great lineup of snipe players. I feel like Deer has been looking more solid recently, although he didn't have like the best record, but he was one of the most winning players, if not the most winning player we've seen from Samsung this season. And I like Samsung's chances to kind of pull a CJ maybe if they get the right, if Stork can actually get them together and make sure that they're practicing the right way, prepare the right players for the right maps, and even though they don't have the big star players like the other team has, stars could be made this season. I don't think this is like the moment where we're going to see it against Jin Air, but I feel like the more experience these newer players that have come back to the team get, for example, like Reality, it could certainly happen.
Also, they kind of had a round 1 like KT where their big players were just not performing either. Like Solar, he had like one of the worst round 1s out of like anyone. I think that guy went like 1-5, but he just is not playing well. He's going to come out today. We'll see how he does against SOS. But first off, we're going to jump into introductions for our first game. It's going to be Trap here. So far, he is 1-1. I'm not sure why he gets that downward arrow.
Most likely from his results on IM from last season, I guess might have been carried in because it's Pro League stats only. That's most likely why, but that's a long time ago. This guy, of course, was on STX and was actually one of the most successful Kessel Process to switch over. He was one of the processes to get good fast when Kessel players were just learning StarCraft 2. And this guy, Hurricane, used to be known as Tier in the past. Listening to him, some 41 here.
Jamming out to this song.
And Hurricane was an FXO player who was a sniper. We called him the wild card Protoss, Calder and I back in the GSTL. In Heart of the Swarm and in Kespa, he is yet to really prove himself as a top-tier player like he was in the GSTL. Not yet. He hasn't done it.
We're still waiting. I mean, he doesn't get played all that often, but now that Samsung has all their better players not playing well and losing some of their players as well here, so I think we're going to see this guy more and more, and hopefully he develops into a very strong player. He has some very interesting plays. We're going to jump into this PvP here. It's going to be on merry-go-round as mentioned before. Let's jump into it. Game number 1 between Jin Air and Samsung. Up here in the top right in the red for the Jin Air Green Wings, it is Trap.
And down here at the 6 o'clock in blue for Samsung Galaxy Con, it's Hurricane. That's too many words to spread out. Bisu, Stork, Jadong, Flash, Tech Bang Lee Song. If you're a StarCraft 1 fan, you know about those old school players that all made that name together. I don't know what that Chinese character was on the left side. Maybe that's like the symbol they used for it. I have no idea.
That was a very detailed sign.
Brood War fan is putting out some knowledge. I couldn't read it fast enough, and my Brood War memories have like started to fade a little bit. I do every now and then just go back and watch every OSL and every MSL intro in my house
you
at
do
3
that,
o'clock in the
and
morning.
you send it to me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, this is great, actually.
I'm like,
enjoy
listen,
it.
Brendan, you need to watch this. You're like, what is this? And you just watch it. You're like, that was great. I'm like, I told you, man. So we have an actually 11 gate here for Trap. Much faster gateway timing. Obviously going to cost him some economy. We'll have a faster warp gate research, and most importantly in this matchup these days, a faster tech.
Yeah. We'll see what he decides to do from this. It could also just be fast Mothership Core. You know, want to get that scout on a little bit faster. It does open up a lot of different options here. Meanwhile, over at Hurricane's base, just going pretty standard. You get that 13 gate, get that gas down. Double gas. Only one gas here for Trap.
Yep. And let's have to wait and see what he's got planned here. Because there's a lot of different things this could be.
Yeah. I would assume that second gas is going to come down here in due time.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's no
But
there's no real viable one gas builds anymore in the current meta. You just need that Mothership Core, and if you need Mothership Core plus tech, you're going to need double gas, and that's why we set gas banded now.
yeah, just delayed until after the Cybernetics core. He wants to get that out as soon as possible.
Yeah, and
That's really the focus here.
And when you go for a faster gate like this, you lose like some mining anyways, so you end up leaving just one gas for a little while to make up for that mining. Second gate for Hurricane really early on here.
Yeah, so if this were any type of gateway rush, he's going to have a lot of stalkers early on to deal with any probes, any pylons that come down near his base. It's a very safe build that allows you to get a lot of units very early on, is the build that Hurricane is doing, whereas Trap, unfortunately, is going to scout incorrectly. And we do see at the base of Trap, he is, in fact, just making a stalker and warp gate research. So, no tech just yet.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a Twilight for Hurricane. Gonna make a pylon there. That may be where he ends up hiding his tech. That looks like a Stargate placement, though.
Yeah, this is Twilight for Trap. I thought it could be. I thought it was possibly the Mothership Core, but I thought it was too many minerals. I didn't want to say anything until I saw it for sure. But yeah, we got Twilight down on the way here, as well as 2 extra gates. So just very fast blank attack here out of Trap. Looking to kill Hurricane.
Good move here with the Stalker, using that extra vision from the Watchtower. He's going to be able to kill Hurricane's Probe Scout easily. Are we going to see a Stargate? What is he making? Just making Stalkers at home.
The Stalkers.
Looks like he just wants to...
Could be delayed Twilight. Oh, Dark Shrine.
Dark Shrine coming up here. You know, Trap, is he just going to try to... I guess he's just going to try DT Rush here. I'm really curious to see what Hurricane's plan is. Like, he's making a sentry right now. I guess he's just going to try to expand off of this. 2 delayed sentries. This is it's a very unique opening. We don't see stuff like this very often.
Pylon gets scouted here, and 3 Stalkers out already for Hurricane. This is going to get shut down.
Well, the idea behind these Stalkers is to stop any sort of early rush, any sort of early pressure, shut it down hard.
That's exactly what he's going to do.
Actually can kill that Stalker if Trap's not careful. And now adds, I believe, an extra gateway. I think he thinks it's blinked still, but he has no detection. And that's a Twilight Council that's also not going to detect. The sentry is his only hope at actually defending this. If he misses a force field, it's going to cost him his entire... it's going to cost him the game.
Yeah, he needs to get that pylon down. He finally makes that there. It's going to go undetected for a little bit here. We actually see a Nexus coming down.
No, this pylon being undetected is huge. Like, Trap is going to be pretty annoyed that he's losing a lot of hit points on the Stalker, but he's like, okay, pylon's still alive, though. Can't warp in right next to the Stalkers. Have to wait. Now he can do it. And let's see it. Oh, the sentries are actually expecting something else. Where is the sentry? Where's the other sentry at?
They're in the main. And here we go. DT's coming in. Where's the force field?
Oh, he's going to get it.
He sees it.
That
there
was
we go.
Close. That was very close.
That was unbelievably close,
But this isn't over yet. He's got a ton of Stalkers here, and he's going to need another force field. Doesn't have enough Stalkers to, like, Archon break this.
I don't know. I think he might.
Okay,
he's going to try. Yeah, I mean, he's got 3 gates. I mean, he's had them for longer than Hurricane. Hurricane right now is trying to go into Robotech right now.
He's going to Archon break it with 1 DT. 1 DT is going to come up here, and there's still no detection whatsoever. Nexus cannon goes down, but there's no detection. No detection. And that DT is just going to do so much work on its own. He needs to be careful, though. He can send that DT in. Okay, there it goes.
Yeah, he's got to go in. Okay, here we go, finally.
And this is going to be so much damage here.
He could have force fielded that, actually. He wasn't paying attention. Here we go.
Well, let's see how much damage he gets done. He's trying to use his units to block this DT, and actually, so far, so good.
He's going for the sentries. Just go for the probes, man.
Well, I think his idea is, like, if I kill the sentries, I just win the game with the next attack. But I feel like if he kills the probes, the same is almost essentially true.
Well, you can just get so far ahead. He could have killed, like, 10 probes already.
Mothership Core is going to go down here. Ends up targeting that. This Archon can do so much damage as well. It's so tanky. And now the DT is still doing some extra work. The Observer comes out. DT.
But I guess it's just not going to matter. He's got too many units.
Yep, too many units, and
Archon is still really strong. I mean, it does a lot of damage, a lot of health,
yeah,
or a lot of shields, rather. And there we go. I think this is going to be it.
That's going to be it. The probes can't fight against Stalker Archon. GG.
GG. Trap takes the game. Jin are already off to 1-0 lead. And we were saying it was going to be an aggressive, fast game. We weren't lying. PvP between these two guys. Who would have thought?
Well, Trap just in a unique build. Hurricane didn't read it correctly. It's tough to read a build like that, though. He just couldn't get a scout off in the main. His sentries were late. Usually when you do a build like this, when you expand like that, you get the sentries first, but you want to get the stalkers to, like, deny pylons, it looks like. If your sentries were late, you can't hallucination scout. And he didn't send a Mothership Core over.
Yeah. Usually you do, like, a gate and you get out one sentry very fast for that hallucination scout you're talking about.
Yeah, or if you don't do that, you scout with the Mothership Core, but he couldn't really do either. And I mean, the build was not bad. It was a good build, and it was also standard. But he killed the first pylon. He didn't find the second one, and then the Archon was a big problem.
Well, it's a bit of a quick one. Sorry for Hurricane. He does get that PvP record now to 1-1, taking that loss. And Samsung Galaxy Con, they didn't have a good round one. They're already off to a slow start.
Well, today's matchups really just do not favor them. Not only is Jin Air the stronger team overall, the matchups they got today are just really, they're really rough.
They're rough. But it's hard to have good matchups when you're facing Jin Air in the first place. So you really got to hand it to Trap, though. I mean, getting his one win, it's hard to break into a lineup with 4 steady, very strong, well-known players. And Trap's able to do it, and he takes a win. So we may see more of him in the future.
I think Trap's really underrated. He definitely had a long slump. And I think that was actually, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, due to the fact that he had so much trouble sticking with a team that was successful. He went from STX to, he was on STX Soul to just Soul, which had no STX, no sponsor really, into IM, which then quickly still technically exists, still technically disbanded. Sorry, everybody.
The team, like, imploded.
The team in the roster still exists. And then now the team's not in Pro League, and he had to, of course, move into another team. But this is a great opportunity for him to blossom again, to grow again with a team that is on top.
Yeah. And it's clear that Jin Air wants to give him that opportunity. That's the biggest thing. We were talking about Bravo. That's the main guy from Samsung Galaxy Con. He's finally getting his opportunities to come out here and get wins. I think we're going to get that out of Trap here as well on Jin Air.
Growth is fostered by a strong team and a strong mentality. And I feel like Jin Air took a chance on this guy. They said, I see your potential. I knew you were really good before. You're really consistent Protoss before. And they took a chance on him, and he's already starting to show his worth. And I think that's for Trap's mentality so important. And that makes Jin Air even a more fierce, a stronger team. Just have a new Protoss on their team.
Yeah, what if they throw him out there first one time in the playoffs or something you're not expecting him? He has a very nicely prepared build against one of your players. You know.